last Wednesday, there was a petition for which permission was gained the Tuesday evening, but we weren't fully aware of it. And a list of demands or a petition was handed over to the mayor and the police. At that time, we didn't want to accept the petition due to the fact that we knew in the petition there would be a wage demand which would exceed the minimum wage of 23.19, because we heard rumors about it, although I wouldn't believe it when I heard it because it's preposterous. But later it was clarified that indeed we were looking at a 30 Rand per hour wage demand. We then tried from there on to meet with the organizers of the protest, and we met them on Sunday evening for about 4 hours. A list of grievances was conveyed to us. We indicated immediately that we would cooperate in order to discuss anything, to resolve anything. Sometimes, obviously, you can't do much about some of the issues, but there are issues that we feel we can address. Since 2018, we have put communication forums in place. There's what we call the collaborative, which is an initiative in which we employ the services of a sociologist, and people are trained in it, and it's a place where you can discuss and resolve issues like this. Unfortunately, we're not a bargaining forum, so we will not negotiate wages together, and that is not the important point at all. At the moment, our industry is in a tough position. The beginning of COVID didn't look too bad because the demand for vitamin C spiked, but thereafter things turned worse, and we started dealing with what's called today the global supply chain crisis. And what that meant for us is that we couldn't get vessels, that we had to pay exorbitant prices for containers on many trade routes. That cost doubled. And right now we are in a tight spot as far as profitability of farms are concerned. In my estimation, about 40% of the farms will not make profits in South Africa today. And the rest of them, it will be an achievement if they break even. So everybody's target is to break even and manage their costs. At this point, we can't afford any deviation from the minimum wage. I've got to point out at the same time that very few people are on the minimum wage. The issue is that if you increase the minimum wage, you are going to increase your total wage structure and perhaps even your salary structure. And that's not wise for any citrus producer in this country at the moment. So therefore, it is unfortunately not something we can entertain. We do have a lot of empathy with our people because, you know, inflation is an issue that really affects everybody. Food inflation, in my opinion, is high. And we do what we can. The forum of which the organization I manage and our farmers are all members, since 2018 spent more than 22 million Rand in ensuring that people have got services, and also in this forum that we put together, the collaborative. Separate from that, the company I manage run a very successful foundation where we spend about 5 million Rand a year on people. And there are many other foundations which spend similar amounts of money. Our focus is healthcare and education. So the empathy for people here is enormous. It's a valley where a lot of transformation has been done. The company I manage, we've got a flagship program which is 60% Black owned. Now we're very big farmers being established. So this is not an issue of, let's say, predominantly white farmers looking down on people that work for them at all. We do what we can and we do as much as we can. But in this case, unfortunately, we cannot concede to an increase in the minimum wage. It's the wrong time for us to even consider it. We trust that this can be resolved. At the moment, it's quiet. There's still a strike continuing, but a lot of the people have indicated that they want to come back to work. It's a time where we have to pay attention to our harvest. We deal with perishable product. It's the wrong time to ignore the product. You've got to get it off. You've got to ship it. You've got to sell it so that you can get money back in order to pay people.
What will the effect be on a farmer if they have to pay higher than the minimum pay rate?
The effect will be that you will have to increase all his wages, because it's very simple. If you increase the base, you're going to have to increase it for everybody, and especially with the people we have here. You can't increase the minimum wage and not increase the wage and perhaps even salaries of some other people. They're going to deem it to be unfair. And you must also remember the numbers of people in employment who only get the minimum wage are not the majority. Where in our valley it's applicable to pickers, but the farmers building the incentive system. So if we talk about 23 Rand 19, a picker who picks very efficiently is going to earn more than 40 Rand an hour, never mind 30 Rand an hour. So farmers just don't want to mess with that wage. Also for the organization I manage, we've got 4,000 packers that we employ during the season. I haven't calculated the effect of it on the company that I manage, but I suspect that we will look at a minimum of R250 million, which will have to go out in wages in this valley. There's obviously also the issue of foreign pickers here, and whilst the local people or the South African people do the packing, a lot of the picking has been done by foreigners, and that is the people that will, like in 2018, benefit the most, ironically, from this. Not that it's wrong in any way, but we see this as going the wrong way. The effect on a farmer is one thing, then there's the effect on a total industry. And I'm pretty sure that if we concede to such a demand, this will have an effect, or may have an effect, on industry in total. Many other citrus producing industry areas have then indicated that we must please handle this with utmost care, because they're in a similar situation to us and just can't afford this at all.
Hannes, talking about workers, foreign workers and local workers, is that part of the problem?
Yes, it is. It's been raised as part of the problem. We will discuss it with people. We maintain that if you want to pick, there's got to be enough work. Possibly that there's not enough work in all the pack houses, although there are many pack houses and new ones that's been built. So a lot of people are employed as packers, but in the peak of the season, we are very dependent now on foreign labor to pick the fruit. Look, it creates a lot of problems because the registration of foreigners has become a massive issue in the last year or two. There are consequences. I really do not see this as a long-term solution for our industry. We need our local people involved. But I can assure you, every South African that wants to pick fruit and is fit enough to do the work for the hours required and can do it at the productivity level required, will get a job. At the end of the day, farmers just want people to pick their fruit. I must at the same time say our area has never been one of extreme xenophobia. We see a kind of harmony, even a system that works between foreigners and local people. So I'm careful to say that this is an issue that should be blown up. In other areas, there may be more xenophobia, but not in this case.